How are you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Good to see you, man.
Hey, I was telling these guys, Coach Craig had an emergency, so he's probably not going to join us. So it's just gonna be the five of us, just
Okay.
sitting and chatting. First of all, I want to thank you guys for taking time out to be on the show. It means a lot to me that you guys are supporting. So what we do is we'll go around, introduce yourself, and introduce your program. Coach Briddell, we'll start with you.
Hey guys, I'm Coach Briddell, South Fort Myers High School. This is gonna be my second season at South. 2 years ago, came down mid-season change, took over the program, finished off the season 4-16. Had a full off season with the boys. Came back next year, went from 4 wins to 14, and had pretty much the entire team back. 8 guys, 4 of our top scorers. So we're looking for a big year ahead.
Okay, Coach Conover.
So I'm a little bit different. I'm in the group. I'm the one that hung it up. But I spent 20 years coaching basketball in Northwest Ohio and enjoyed every minute of it, and miss it on a daily basis. But I don't. I'm happy spending the time with the kids. I've got 3 my own kids, and we've got a blended family with a 4th kid. So enjoying the time, but definitely miss coaching and the camaraderie with all you guys.
Yeah,
and I'm at Maumee Valley. Sorry.
Yeah, it's quite a brotherhood. I've built relationships with all of you guys, and I can tell you I admire each and every one of you and how you guys get after it. Some of the best coaches in your area. So, Coach McDonald, you're up, sir.
Hi, Jeremy McDonald. I'm the head coach at Sylvania Northview. This will be my 6th year as the head coach at Northview. Coming off of a stereotypical rebuild year. Had some growing pains, but played really well down the stretch, finished 15-11, and we returned 4 starters and probably our top 2 guys off the bench. So we're looking forward to next season.
Okay. Coach Bretelson?
Yeah, Mike Bretelson, Sylvania Southview. This will be my 3rd season as their head coach. We're coming off a 17-7 season. Last year, got my first tournament win, which was great.
Yeah, congrats.
Thanks. Yeah, we're returning 8 players from our varsity team last year, so we're looking to have a little more experience than what we had last season, and just ready to get back at it.
All right, very good. So obviously we're in a pandemic and going through this stuff. Coach Bretelson, we'll start with you. How are you dealing with your players through this current pandemic that we're going through right now?
Yeah, I think most of all, we're all just anxious and excited to get back in the gym. Sylvania's done a nice job coming up with a plan that's really going to promote safety for everybody, coaches, players. It's going to be an adjustment period. As I think Coach McDonald will probably share just the guidelines, that we've got to follow and such. But, ultimately just ready to get back in the gym and get right back at it. It was nice to have a little bit of time off. I'm sure the kids enjoyed the time away from me. And time with your families, but it's that time to get back at it and grind a little bit. So excited.
Okay. Coach McDonald.
I hope I don't repeat any of Coach Bretelson's answers. He was kind of freezing out on me, but we've been doing a lot of what we're doing right now, a lot of Zoom calls, sending kids individual workouts that they could do on their own.
Okay.
Our first day back that we were allowed to be back was Thursday, so 3 days ago. We got in first day, and I can tell you, I'm really proud of my guys. They appear to be in really good shape, which shows that they've had some accountability and kind of doing their own thing. And every single human being that's alive today, this is uncharted territory. So
Really is.
From a mental health aspect of balancing life and still being able to do the things you need to do to stay healthy, really proud of our guys. Not ideal to have all the stipulations and not being able to have the physical contact, but it's something. I told our guys that we just got to approach it with what it is, and keep working as hard as we can. And again, just really proud of my guys for kind of taking care of some things on their own while we were in some uncertain times.
Yeah, very good. Now, Coach Conover, you're AD, so you oversee the whole sports spectrum. It's a little bit different for you because you're not just in charge of one program, you're in charge of everything. How has that changed with the pandemic for you and getting everybody back to school and safe?
Yeah, it's we've hit the brakes on it, and you know, I think the governor came out on a Thursday afternoon at 2:30 with, you know, the training guidelines, all sports training guidelines, and said we could open up on a Tuesday after Memorial Day after a holiday weekend, and I just didn't feel like that was enough time for us to put in a thorough plan that was specific to our community. And that's the thing about this is, you know, the overarching piece of it is that, you know, we're going to follow the CDC guidelines, the Ohio Department of Health guidelines, but then we need to make sure that we put in some specific plans for our facility. So everybody's facility is different from how you walk in, you know, how you leave the facility, you know, and how you conduct your workouts. And so we met with all of our coaches. We asked our coaches to send some specific plans for their sport. So soccer is going to paint some grids, you know, 10 by 10 grids, 6 feet apart, you know, out on the soccer field so they can do their workouts. You know, so each sport is going to, you know, develop their own plan. And then we've got a task force that will take a look at those plans and just say, okay, we're good to go. And thankfully, you know, and I'm sure that you all in your communities have similar resources. And, you know, we have a lot of physicians in our community that are knee deep in this thing. And so we've been able to tap into some of those resources. I even talked to a doctor who works with the governor up in Michigan just to vet our plan. So we're going to get rolling because I think, like Jeremy said, I think it's important for the kids to get back, not necessarily from a skill development. I think that's important, but most importantly, you know, the mental health, you know,
Mhm.
getting kids active
Yeah,
and
that's
camaraderie of
a
getting
serious
them,
thing right now. Yeah.
yeah, getting them back with their teammates. So I think that's where we're at right now, and I feel comfortable and confident that that's, you
Okay.
know, best for us.
Okay, good. Coach Brettell, how are things down in South Fort Myers with you guys?
We still haven't started up yet. We're looking at a projected start date of possibly July 1st.
Okay.
Like everyone's saying, it's a huge adjustment for everybody. Everyone's extremely anxious to get at it. Our coaches are doing a great job of just figuring out different ways to enhance our program.
Mhm.
Players have been absolutely amazing. I mean, to actually just step back and watch these kids work on their own and when no one's watching, I mean, they've absolutely just stepped up and did an amazing job. I'm super proud of them.
Okay. Obviously, the big elephant in the room is the race and the social stuff that we're going through with people protesting and stuff like that. Coach Bretelson, I'll start with you. How are you handling that with your players? Because all of you guys have coached players of color and stuff like that. Tell me how you're specifically dealing with that.
Well, truly, I haven't had a chance to discuss it yet, so we're going to start
Okay.
Monday.
Okay.
So we haven't actually gotten started yet, but you know, my message to them is that this is going to be an opportunity for the white community to listen and learn and support, you know, Black community and understand, you know, the struggles that they go through on a daily basis. You know, I want to give our guys, especially the Black players, I want to give them a platform to express themselves, and you know, and it's our job as white people. We need to unify and support these people, and you know, and work together. So that's going to be my message to our kids, and you know, as a teacher in the district, I think it's important to do the same with our students, and make sure they understand, you know, this needs to be unified and not divisive.
I agree. Coach McDonald, what about you?
You know, just to piggyback on what Mike said, I think it's a responsibility of white people to, you know, show our Black friends that we're on the same side. At least most of us are. You know, I can only draw on my own experiences. I was fortunate to grow up in a diverse community where race, it really wasn't an issue for the most part. You know, and you know, I've been in situations myself with some of my Black friends growing up. I've been pulled over by the police probably a dozen times for little things, nothing big. But 2 or 3 times where, you know, I'm in a car full of my Black friends, it's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
So I would never say that I can feel what they feel, but you know, I see it. And one of my former players, Jaden Bolden, just had a tweet, released a story on Twitter about 3 or 4 hours ago, brought me to tears. I think everyone should go read it. Jade Bolden 50 on Twitter.
All right.
It's a learning opportunity. I think kids in Sylvania are going to be shocked when they hear some of the things that people say. And you know, racism has always been one of the top issues for me. One of the things that just really messes me up. And I don't understand it. But I've got to do a better job myself of letting the players that I coach that are of color, not just black players, but anyone in a minority group, I got to let them know that I'm here and I'm on the same team. So I've got to be more outspoken myself. And you know, 300 years of slavery, we're only 155 years removed.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how little time that is. I've coached kids in my 17 years whose grandparents or great grandparents were slaves.
Wow.
This thing is you know, it's still in the early stages, and like Mike said, it's going to be a team effort.
It is, truly is. Coach Briddell.
Yeah, you know, our players are very aware of the changes that need to be made in our country, and we're fully supporting one another. We have a responsibility to the community that we live in, and know we have to be the ones that make that change. I think our guys are understanding just how far their reach is and the difference that as a group that we can make together.
Okay, Coach Conover. Now you probably have one of the most diverse schools in the area, because you got black, white, Indian. You're all over the place. So
Yeah, and I think I'm going to push this a little bit further. And, you know, I think what you just heard from all the coaches, that everybody's in a different spot in that journey, right?
Right.
And that's I was able to take a diversity training program this year. It was a 10-month program called SEED, and it's seeking educational equity and diversity. And it's from a group out of Michigan. They're called Single Story. And I think that was the number one thing. It's just like a basketball player. You got to own where you're at, right? You know, you got to own your role. You got to know where you're at, and what you got. That way you can develop a plan to kind of get to where you need to go. And I think that's a few years back, Maumee Valley kind of took a hard look at, you know, where we were at. You know, we say we're a diverse school, but are we really living up to that? You know, and ripping it open. That's not a bad thing. And so I think it's important for everybody to own and recognize where they're at. And for me, you know, like Jeremy, I felt like I grew up in a diverse community. I felt like I grew up in a diverse family. But I think I was missing the mark in truly understanding what white privilege was. Like, I was scared of that term. And taking this training program, it really got me to own that concept. And then it gets you to a place where now you can take action, right? And you can positively impact the cause. And so now I'm in a place where, like, I'm staying in my lane. And what I mean by that is, like, I work at a school, you know, and how can I impact in a school? So I'm not going to, you know, I can help other places, but where I'm going to be at my best is working within my school, my community, or within my networks, such as the TAC or, you know, the AD networks that I have to help bring about some action and change. And I think looking at hiring, looking at, you know, recruitment of students, you know, where we're advertising for employment, you know, those types of things. Our curriculum's a big piece to what we're taking a hard look at, just making sure, you know, that we're doing what we need to be doing. And I think it, you know, as I talked to my son last week about this whole situation at, you know, he's 10, I was so impressed to hear what he knew, you know, and what he had been taught, you know, at such a young age. And so, so I think for us, you know, all of us are in education, right? And so we have a great opportunity to not only within our system, but, you know, to educate our kids, you know, educate the students that we're involved with on a daily basis. So we're taking seed to the students, you know, that training program to the students, and educating that next generation. So, you know, I think it's important, you know, as well. So that's where we're at with it. And, you know, I'm thankful that, you know, like you said, I work in such a diverse school with people from all over the globe, from different walks of life. It's been a blessing to be there, and I've grown so much, you know, specifically in the last 6 years that I've been at Maumee Valley.
Okay, so I'll circle back to you. You as a leader, and all you guys are leaders. Rob, what are you telling your players, and what are you doing for your community? What is your message to them?
Yeah, it's train, train, learn, listen, grow. That's the first piece to it, is where are you at individual. All of us are at different places in that journey to understand what diversity truly is and how you can impact it in a positive way. And so I think that's that first step just in anything we do, is like taking ownership of where we're at, and not being afraid of that. And that gets you to a point where then you can put together a strategic plan to move forward,
Okay.
and grow and learn. And then you can, and for me, it was after I got done with this training program, I was able to clearly see where I could make it, or so I mean, use my situation as administrator to positively impact the cause. And I think that's for all of us sitting here. We all have that opportunity, and taking, so when I say stay in our lane, like take a look at your networks of people, and find ways to use your resources and your privilege to impact change, take action.
Okay. Coach Bretelson, what is your message to your players in your community as well?
Yeah, I'm going to kind of piggyback off Rob. I think he's right. I think ownership has got to be one of the top priorities that comes from the white community. I mean, you have to understand that there's been a lot of wrong and a lot of injustice that Black people have endured. Mm-hmm. And, our players, I think we need to make sure our players understand it. I think we need to make sure our students understand that in our school districts, and that the change has to happen, and it has to start happening now with us, with teachers, with coaches, with, anybody that's in an administrative position like that, anybody that's got a platform like we have. Mm-hmm. We've got to be willing to use that platform, and take the opportunity to really unify each other, I think, and show that, there's no place for judgment, especially not when it comes to skin color, I think. So.
Yeah. There you go. Coach McDonald, you're up.
Well, Rob hit the nail on the head with everyone having a role in this. I think, state education departments need to really look at what we're teaching in school. Maybe we need to roll back, definitely we need to roll back some of this testing in elementary school and dig deeper into the history books. I live in an affluent community, and I've had some conversations with neighbors in the last few days that, they thought when the 13th Amendment happened in 1865, everything was just right in the world. They didn't realize that a Black person couldn't testify against a white person in the court of law.
Yeah.
They didn't realize that from 1870 to 1960s Jim Crow, there really wasn't anything done for Black people in this country.
Yeah.
And this is, again, it's going to be a long process. I think, again, the best we can do is be there. Coach Bretelson talked about listening. I have a woman on my staff who has really challenged me in the last 2 years to become a better listener. And I think that's huge. But you also have to want, to make that progress. As coaches, we talk to our players all the time in training that, progress is made outside of your comfort zone. If you're bench pressing the same 135 pounds, you're not going to improve your bench press. Yeah. And if you're not willing to have these difficult conversations, there's going to be no improvement there. So hopefully, with everything that's going on in the world, this conversation can continue. Again, it's a long process. It starts at home with parents having their role in teaching their children about, treating everyone the same. As educators, we have to continue to relay that message as well.
Okay. Coach Briddell?
As a teacher and coach, my life is dedicated to all the young men, women of all races. South Fort Myers is one of the most diverse schools in Southwest Florida. I love every single one of them. Within our team, within the community that we live in, we're going to continue to listen to each other and support each other, and most of all, love each other. And just know that we have to be the ones that make that push.
Okay. All right. So when we get back to what's our so-called normal, Coach Bretelson, I'm going to start with you. What are you most looking forward to?
I'm just looking forward to continuing to build off the season we had. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to finally be in a situation where we're not rebuilding, where we're bringing back 8 players from the varsity team last year. This is the first season I've really had that privilege. All of my starters are coming back, which is great. So the thing I'm most excited is just to see how these guys are going to grow and build off last season's success and to take it to the next level. That's basically what we're working for.
Okay. Coach Briddell, what are you most looking forward to when we get back to our so-called normal?
The most difficult part for every single one of you guys is just not being able to be around our players or the coaching staff, just getting back in the gym, hitting the weight room, and getting things back and running again. We looked, like Coach said, we're looking to build off of a successful year, everybody returning. We're just ready to grind. We're ready to go.
Okay. Coach McDonald?
The normal thing is we'll see what that looks like. We got back in Thursday, and we're only allowed to have 9 kids in front of us at a time right now. It's challenging. We're really big on giving high fives. We can't do that right now.
Yeah.
We can't huddle as a team right now. We can't go in the locker room together right now. So I'm looking forward to the team camaraderie, some of the team building things that we do. I've had the luxury during this time to read 4 or 5 books and got a million ideas. I'm just hoping that we're fortunate enough to have the opportunity to do some of those things and connect with kids. I'm interested to watch my kids play. I mean, I got to watch them shoot and dribble and do some 1-on-0 drills Thursday and Friday, but watching them compete against each other and seeing how far they can take each other.
Okay. Coach Conover, you've got a bigger spectrum. What does normal look like to you at Maumee Valley Country Day?
Well, I'll start by saying I can't wait to watch Northview Southview this year. Sounds like it's going to be a game, and I'm glad I'm not coaching in it.
I'm going to need a ticket to that one, guys.
I'm glad I'm not coaching in it. No, I think just everybody's kind of said it here. A big piece to this is we left school, unexpectedly, and friends. I think friends have stayed in contact, but just that camaraderie, of the relationship building. I think we're all, like, if you're a coach, you're in relationship building business on a daily basis, and it's hard to do it over Zoom, right? It's hard to, I think we've gotten better at it. But I enjoy sitting in a room, just, talking with you all and joking around with the students and, just being kind of that normal. And I miss competition. I really do. I miss watching kids compete. That's why I've kind of chosen the field that I'm in, is I get an opportunity on a daily basis, not only kids competing in the classroom, but then, I get to go watch them out on the field of play and on the courts, and it's awesome, and it's, what better job to watch high school kids grow, develop, and then, go out and compete really hard. And so I'm excited to see that again. And I don't want any of our students to lose out on any more of their, seasons or careers that they've had. I mean, that's been a tough thing, to watch some of our seniors lose out on. We had a kid that was going to compete for a state track championship, and I'm sure that all of us have those stories, and like, how hard is it to sit there and watch that happen to a kid, but then to sit there and watch a kid handle it with grace and, and understanding. And so that was impressive to watch too. But that's what I'm looking forward to most, is just getting back with everybody and competing again.
Okay. As we close out with our final question, Coach McDonald, I'm going to start with you. What is the upcoming season look like for you, and who should we keep our eye on?
Well, obviously, we returned 4 starters. First of all, Sean Craig was the District 7 Player of the Year as a sophomore. He's in elite. I don't tell him this, but only Jim Jackson and Vince Williams have that distinction other than him. So that's a pretty cool stat. I certainly don't put him on that caliber of players yet, but just he's a coach's dream. Incredible player and kid, and a high academic kid, fantastic leader, just hungry to keep getting better. He wants the coaches to coach him. He's a special kid, 20 points, 13 rebounds as a sophomore. So we're hoping he builds on that and gets us about 35 and 20 this year.
Wow.
But he's a great
I know
kid.
Coach Bretelson don't want to see that.
Yeah. So Grant Copeland's another starter. That'll be a junior, really good athlete. It's excited to see his growth. He was tremendous for us in the tournament, as was Justin Noe. Justin Noe down the stretch was our second best player. Big wins over Perrysburg and Central. Justin was
Hey,
back
hey.
in those games. Sorry.
We'll have to cut
Big
this out.
wins, I mean that in a respectful way. I mean, those were tough
It was a
challenges.
good game. You guys were tough. You guys were tough.
Justin really rose to the challenge. So we're excited to watch him grow still. He's a really good athlete. And then Brendan Sharp is our point guard, returning. He's really skilled. His biggest problem is his confidence isn't as much as it should be for a player of his caliber. So hopefully with a year of varsity under his belt, that'll improve. And he's got all the makings to be a fantastic point guard for us. So I think the outlook looks good if we can stay healthy.
Okay. Coach Briddell, down in South Fort Myers, what does the season look like, and who should we keep our eye on?
We're definitely going to be one of the top teams, returning most of our guys, the eight guys that we said. Like I said, we went from a 4-win to a 14-win team and have all the 8 returning players. Only 2 graduated. We have one of the best shooters in all of Southwest Florida, Cade Doherty. Broke multiple school records last year. He was top 10 in the state for most threes made in a season with 85. Broke 2 school records for most threes in a game with 8 each. 3.8 GPA. Just a dad played college ball over at Tri-State. Just an all-around terrific player to have in the program.
Awesome.
We also have another 2021 prospect, J.L. Rodriguez. He averaged 14 a game. He's absolutely a tear in the open court. Two sophomores from last season, Carson Doherty and Anthony Ferguson, both averaged around 10 points a game. Carson coaches kid, brother of Cade. High basketball IQ, was one of the team captains as a sophomore, has a complete offensive game. Shot close to 40% from three-point line, has an absolutely nasty pull-up jumper, can finish well in traffic. Anthony Ferguson was a 5'11" guard, averaged close to a double-double for us. So we have all those guys returning, 2 or 3 scorers off the bench. So we're hoping to make a big run this year.
Okay, Coach Bretelson, where are you guys looking?
Yeah. Well, like I said, we're returning 5 starters this season, which is a luxury I haven't had yet.
Nice.
Our top returning our leading scorer, Grant Paul, 6'2", wing player, 13 points per game, 5 rebounds per game last season. Kind of flies under the radar defensively. I think a lot of times I could put Grant all over the place. Very versatile as a defender. That we were playing Beechcroft, Columbus, actually, who won their districts, and they had a guy that was probably 6'4", 250. I mean, this guy was a tank, and nobody could handle him. In the first half, he's crushing us off the boards. At halftime, I said, well, who's going to be able to box this guy out and keep him off the glass? Grant Paul raises his hand. I put him on him in the second half. I don't think he got a rebound in the second half. So that Grant's going to be the face of our program again this season, and a true leader for us, a coach's dream. Very coachable player, hard worker. Sean Millington, our point guard. Sean started last year as a sophomore for us, and we really put a lot of faith and a lot of trust in him as a sophomore, running that point guard position for us. Had a chance to see him yesterday and a few times. He's really grown some. He's about a solid 6'2" now. I think most of the season he was maybe 6 foot, 6'1". Last year he's grown 6'2", averaged about 11 points per game for us, and we're looking for him to just keep getting better and better and improving. He's a player that has so much passion and drive. And we're really looking to him to emerge as a leader for our team this season. We got AJ Jump coming back. He's our big man, about 6'4". Averaged 7 points per game, 5 boards per game last season for us as a sophomore, starting varsity as well. So, again, looking for him to make huge strides and growth from a maturity standpoint and be a leader for our team. We bring back a scrappy defender in Eric Holler. He's about 5'9". He's our bulldog. He's our leader on defense, the heart and soul of our defense. That's where he hangs his hat, and made such a big impact in our tournament win over St. Francis in the district, in the sectional finals. Just does all the little things that aren't on the stat sheet that you got to have a guy like that,
You do.
So, those 4 stand out, but I think that, we've got a lot of guys who played, role positions for us last year as in a supporting cast that could really make some noise this year. And a Justin Relford coming off the bench and using his body and his shooting ability to affect and contribute in games, and Jack Woodall to use his shooting ability and his knowledge and his basketball vision to affect games as well. And we've got some kids coming up from our JV level that are going to push these guys. So I'm feeling really confident and really excited about our season.
That's what you want. Coach Conover, outlook for Maumee Valley Country Day, and tell us who should we look out for?
Well, Jeremy's got a scouting report now from Mike, so that's a good thing. So, we lose a lot. We've had a really nice run over the last, 4 or 5 years, and, school history was made, and 2 district championships, a regional final. We were on that doorstop and just, couldn't push through. And, but we've got some guys coming back. J.R. Lumsden, I think, is a kid that's going to make a lot of noise this year. I think he's working hard right now on, developing. He could shoot the ball, but he's got to be able to get the space that he needs to be able to get his shot off. I mean, he's a drive first kid, and he's incredible around the rim. I mean, he had several 20-point, 20-rebound games last year, and we had for a Division IV team, I think we played 6 or 7 D1 teams, high-level D1 teams. I think we played 5 or 6 state-ranked teams last year, and he was able to put up some big-time numbers against those teams. So he's poised for a really good year, and I'm excited for him. Trey Sims is a kid who was a new addition last year. I think he's got the ability to kind of get that shot off whenever he needs to. And so he needs to probably, learn more about, making reads and playing the game with his head. And, he's got great instincts and things like that, but, he can gain an advantage if he starts playing a little bit more with his head. But he's going to have a good year. He's about 6'1", and he's got a nice high release, great jump shot, and can get to the rim, great athletic ability. And then I think we're going to have some kids that we didn't have last year, some soccer guys that didn't come out for basketball last year. Our soccer team is poised to have a great year and make a state run. But I think this whole thing of losing, our seniors last year, spring seniors, losing out on, opportunities has kind of put things in perspective. And those guys who are talented and good athletes and will help us tremendously. And I think they're coming back and going to help give us a boost. So, I don't want to speak for Coach Moan, but I think he's pretty excited about, what he's got. And we've got a really nice 8th grade class coming in that was really talented. And I think that the 8th grade class in the TAC as a whole is going to be kind of that next group
nice.
Coming up. If you're looking for a group to watch, it's the class of 2024, and at least in the TAC. And they were really competitive 8th grade games, and a lot of growth that needs to happen, but obviously we're pretty excited about that group. They've got a great mix of size, skill, and athletic ability that I think will be good for Coach Moan. But we're excited. I think Coach Moan's excited. Second year in the program. You all know how hard it is that first year to get things set, and get your philosophy and your expectations set. And I think Coach Moan did a great job last year, and I've been unbelievably impressed with him. At every step of the way, I had the opportunity to coach with him and watch him last year, and so we're excited about that crew this year.
Awesome. So, hey, I appreciate all you guys being on. Best of luck to you guys in the season. I'd love to follow up with you guys probably midway through the season, do some one-on-ones or get back and have everybody kind of chat, see where you guys are at. And then hopefully, Briddell, if you can get out that South Florida weather, you can come up and join us for a beer or something like that. So,
Hey, you got it, man.
Don't do it.
Only in the summertime.
Yeah. So, Coach McDonald, Coach Bretelson, Coach Briddell, Coach Conover, I appreciate it from the heart. You guys taking the time out.
Anytime.
Terry.
To join
Thanks,
So,
Terry. Appreciate
thanks
it, Coach.
again, guys. Everybody be safe, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thanks.